My September Poshmark sales felt like fall, not because they were falling down, but because there was a ton of autumnal items like boots, sweaters, and jeans. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what sold on Poshmark and, ooh, wait for it, Facebook Marketplace. Oh yes, in September 2021. I'm also going to be sharing some trends that I saw in September, some goals for October, and also what I'm looking forward to at Poshfest coming up. My name is Ashley and I'm a reseller based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. September was a pretty good month for me for reselling. I sold 81 items for $2,509 in sales. My ASP, or average selling price, was $30.98. What's funny is I actually sold the same number of items in September as I did in August. I sold 81 items, but my ASP was down. So my ASP in August was $34, and this month it was just shy of $31. And that makes sense. I had some higher sales, but I also had some lower priced items move. I accepted some lower offers, and yeah, so it's interesting to see how those kinds of things will move the needle when it comes to ASP and total revenue. I had a goal to list 200 items on Poshmark in September, and actually my friend Veronica reached out to me when she saw that I had shared my goals for the month and asked if I wanted to be accountability buddies. And so it was really great. We checked in with each other every day or every other day to see how we were doing. I didn't reach my goal of 200 items and listed 108, but it was still great to have someone to check in with, and it definitely gave me perspective on how I'm going to approach listing this month. Veronica did reach her goal of listing 100 items, which is awesome, just generally, but also because I knew she had a lot going on in her life. So kudos to you, Veronica. My sell-through rate on Poshmark was 19.47%, which is down a little bit from last month. So hoping to get some of those numbers up so I can see my gross revenue increase. When it comes to reselling, I think it can be so easy to compare ourselves to other people and their numbers, but I really think it's you versus you. So I always like to look back and see what my previous numbers were. So in September 2020, I sold 15 items for a total of $497. I listed 13 items, and that was all part-time. And fun fact, September 2019 was actually when I sold my first item on Poshmark and was hit with the reselling bug. We've come a long way, and I'm really excited to see where I'll be at this time next year. But back to 2021. Another exciting thing that happened in September was that I bought myself a new steamer. She's actually sitting just over here. You can't see her, but she's beautiful. I had a handheld steamer that I really liked and worked well for me when I was part-time and wasn't processing as many items and listing as many each month. But I found that with the volume of items that I wanted to list and prep and photograph and get up in my Poshmark closet, using the small handheld steamer that could only last a couple of items before I needed to refill just wasn't working for me. So I invested in a stand-up Jiffy steamer, the classic, but I got her in pink. I'll be sure to link the one I got down in the description because if you're on the market, it is really great. Honestly, it's such a game changer. The first night I used the new steamer, I came out and expressed to my boyfriend that I was literally in love with the steamer, and it's made steaming items so much more enjoyable. Before I dive into my sales, I would love to hear how September was for you. Leave a comment down below. You can check out this poll that I asked y'all earlier this week. Seems like a lot of folks were kind of in the middle, with just a handful of folks saying, oh, it was terrible, and some of you just looking forward to October. I'm not going to take you through all 81 items, but I'm going to highlight the items that sold over $40, and at the end, I'm also going to highlight 2 items that didn't sell for $40, but I was just excited to see leave. I sold quite a few pairs of jeans in September, and this first sale was actually a bundle of 2 pairs of Citizen of Humanity jeans. The first pair in this bundle was a style that I felt confident in. It was the Rocket high-rise skinny jeans, and we've talked about this before, but people are still buying skinny jeans, especially if they're higher rise. And then the second pair, after I purchased them, I was kind of like, Ashley, why did you do that? They were a skinny style, but they were specifically low rise. They were the Avedon skinny jeans in a low rise, Citizen of Humanity. They were both in size 27. The buyer sent me an offer for $85 and I accepted. And I listed those both around the same time. I think I might have picked them up on the same trip or within a couple days of one another. The high-rise jeans have been sitting for 74 days and the low-rise jeans have been sitting for 73 days. I've mentioned over the last couple months that I've been doing more consignment, and in the video that I shared about consignment, I talked about this incredible J. Crew mustard yellow jumpsuit in a size 16. It was just such a gorgeous piece. It had a V-neck, it was sleeveless, it tied at the waist, and it was just this incredible mustard color. The buyer and I went back and forth on offers, and it sold for $65, and that took just 24 days to sell. I shared a video recently about Poshmark bundles, and I'll be sure to link that down in the description, but in September I sold 12 bundles, and this was another one of them. It was 2 vintage pieces from 2 different consignment clients. There was a really gorgeous red crossbody vintage purse from Jaclyn Smith. The other was a vintage dress from the brand Grisham Lane. It was a lovely fuchsia dress with this bold floral print. Those 2 items sold in a bundle offer for $42. The purse took 12 days to sell, and the dress just took 5. Cherry Velvet is a brand that I learned about as a result of some pieces I got from one of my consignment clients. They're a brand that makes gorgeous dresses in a variety of sizes, in really pretty prints, in dresses that have like a vintage retro aesthetic. This was their Marie dress in a size 0X in like a floral fireworks print, really, really pretty, and it was new with tags. It sold for $68 on an offer to Liker and took less than a week to sell. Next up was a bundle that sold to a viewer, so thank you so much. This one was actually kind of funny because I shared a video unboxing my Jilly box. This person messaged me saying, "Hey, I saw that you unboxed the Jilly box. I was wondering if you were going to keep the blue light glasses." And the night before, I had actually thought to myself that I probably wasn't going to keep them. I really like them, but as a glasses wearer, it didn't really make sense for me. And I was like, oh, hi, actually, yes, I am planning to sell them. So I took a couple of photos, added a listing, and they also were looking to purchase this Coach monogram silk scarf. So we landed on $65 for those 2 pieces, and that was awesome. The blue light glasses obviously sold that same day, and the monogram scarf from Coach took 9 days to sell. It is really interesting to see items from different subscription boxes end up on Poshmark, and my best advice would be, if you are selling any of those items that you receive from boxes, just try and get them up as soon as possible, especially with some of the larger subscription boxes like FabFitFun or All True kind of CosBox, just because some of those items, there will be more saturation, I think especially more so in the US, maybe a little bit less in Canada. But if you get one of those boxes and you decide to sell one or some of the pieces in it, just try and get it up as soon as possible. Another thing I would recommend is if you come across an item that was in a subscription box when you're thrifting, just take a look and see what the saturation is like of those items and if they're in demand. Because if there's a huge number of them out there, the item might not be as in demand, even if it's from a brand that people know, love, and trust. It's important to do your research with whatever you're selling, but I think especially when it comes to subscription box items. I did see quite a few pairs of those blue light blocking glasses on Poshmark after I looked, so it was really lovely that that viewer reached out, and thank you so much for that bundle sale. Next up was another bundle, and this was 2 pretty pieces from my consignment client. The first was a Michael Kors silk floral purple top. It was just a really pretty sleeveless top, had a little tie at the waist. The second item was a full pink mini skirt in size 2X from Forever 21, and those 2 items sold for $40 on a bundle offer from the buyer, and both had been listed just less than a month. One of my consignment clients had sent me a bunch of pieces from a variety of Canadian designers, but there was a number of pieces from the brand Annie 50. In August, a buyer had purchased one of the dresses that I had listed from Annie 50, and then I had 2 more dresses to list. I also had a top to list, and I noticed that the person had bundled the 2 dresses together. So I sent them a message saying, hey, I noticed that you like these 2 dresses. I've also got a top from the same brand in the same size. Would you be interested? They said yes, and these 3 pieces all sold together in a bundle for $125. I have no more Annie 50 in my closet, and I'm kind of sad about it because those pieces were so cute. Next up was another pair of jeans, also Citizens of Humanity. These were the Chrissy high-rise skinny jeans. I've sold these before. The buyer and I went back and forth about pricing on these. We landed at $55. Those were a size 26, and they took just 5 days to sell. Sometimes people will go through your closet and like a bunch of items. You might message them about making a bundle, and then you don't hear anything. And that's kind of what I expect generally. I often don't expect to hear back from people. So I had this experience this month where someone went in, liked a bunch of my items. I sent them a message, and they were like, yes, that sounds excellent. Oh, okay. Hi. Thanks for coming out. So this was a bundle of 5 items that sold for $150. It was a wide range of items from a bunch of different places. There was this really pretty J. Crew skirt in this fun print in a size 8. There was a blouse from the brand Shakti in this really fun bird print. It was very whimsical. It was beige, it had the white print. I think it had a tie in the neck, and that was in a size large. There was an Aritzia Wilfred wool peacoat that had been in my closet forever, and I had relisted a number of times, so I was really happy to see that in the bundle. There was a pair of Citizens of Humanity jeans in the Faye wide leg style in a size 29. Those have been sitting for almost 180 days, and I really thought that they were going to do better just because they were a trendier style, they were wide leg. Anyway, they were in this bundle. And the last item was a Karl Lagerfeld silk scarf that came in my Quick Lots box. It was a black silk scarf, and it had like Karl Lagerfeld's signature in silver embossing on it. I loved that bundle. It felt like I was styling someone, and I just put it all together in a really cute box, and I was so excited for this person to have so many lovely pieces to add to their closet for fall. You can see there was a trend here. A lot of my sales over $40 were bundles like this one. These two pieces were both from one of my consignment clients. They were both Lauren by Ralph Lauren. There was a green sleeveless shift dress, very classic, very preppy, and then there was also a short khaki colored skirt. Both the items were size 16 in a very like classic Ralph Lauren preppy kind of vibe. They sold for $60 on an offer to the buyer. The skirt had been listed for 25 days and the dress had been listed for 36 days. Next up was another bundle. I had shared this Aritzia cropped Henley in the recent fall thrift haul that I did, and it got a ton of attention, so I knew that was going to sell pretty quickly. It sold with this navy sports bra that I had gotten in my Quick Lots box. Those two items sold for $52 on an offer to the buyer, and the shirt had only been listed for 3 days and the sports bra for 83 days. One of my consignment clients had sent a number of scarves. Some of them were brands like Kate Spade, and a bunch of them were vintage, but I just listed them and this person was interested. So there were two lovely scarves. Both had like a New York theme. One was white and gray and pink, and the other was red and a bit more bold. And they sold with this Treasure and Bond swimsuit cover-up that I had received in my Quick Lots box. Those three items sold for $60 on an offer to the buyer and had been listed for 22 days and just over 70 days. The next item to sell was another pair of jeans, not Citizens of Humanity this time. These were the AG Adriano Goldschmied jeans. They were in the Farah high-rise skinny style, another style that I think I sold one pair of before. They were also in a size 26, and the buyer and I were going back and forth on pricing, and we couldn't land on something, but it was closet clear out, so I sent them a message saying, hey, what if we land on $55 and then Poshmark will send you discounted shipping? They said yes, and those took 3 days to sell. I shared these gorgeous rag & bone boots in the recent fall haul that I did. They were just fantastic. I was a bit surprised that they didn't get as much attention when I first listed them, but I was like, okay, that's okay. They're gorgeous boots. They will sell. The style was called the Harper Moto boot. They were in a really pretty brown leather, and they were in fantastic condition. I sent out offers to likers. A buyer came back with a $125 offer, and I also had discounted shipping on the listing as well, and those took 5 days to sell. I feel like 2020 was the year where we really embraced the soft pant, and these pants were actually from my personal closet. I anticipated that I was going to wear them a bit more, but I just found that I wasn't, so I listed them. They were the Aritzia Wilfred Jallade, Jallade pants in this really pretty blush color. They're a high-waisted pant with a waist tie. They're nice because they're a soft pant, but they've got a bit more of a structured look. I got an offer from the buyer for $50, and those took just 2 days to sell. I also shared this Everlane cashmere crew neck sweater in my haul. It got so many likes, but no one wanted to buy it until this person did. It sold for $58 on an offer to liker, and that took a week to sell. I find it so fascinating when folks like an item and it gets, 10, 20, 30 likes, but no one takes the leap. And I'm like, what is it about this item that people like, but they don't want to buy it yet? I don't know. I don't have an answer. Do you have an answer? Let me know. I'd never heard of this brand, Bionica, but these were leather boots from one of my consignment clients. They were in a size 9. I listed them. There weren't a ton of comps and a ton of other items, and I thought they might sit for a little while, but no. They sold for $52 on an offer to liker, and they took 1 day to sell. I think I shared this Free People sweater in my haul as well. It was a really pretty blush color, long sleeve sweater, a bit of a longer style. I got an offer from the buyer for $40, and I accepted. I've really embraced selling intimates and bras because they tend to do pretty well for me. When I was talking to one of my consignment clients about items that I would sell, she asked if it would be okay to include a few bras, and I was like, yes. And these were 2 of them. They're from the brand Wacoal. I'm having a terrible time pronouncing things today. Wacoal. I also can't spell on camera, apparently. They were 2 really lovely bras, and the buyer asked if I would do $40 for both, and I said yes. Now that I know this about bras and generally how they tend to do on Poshmark, it's a section that I check out when I'm at the thrift store now. Do you sell bras on Poshmark? Let me know if there's any brands that have been doing well for you. I'm super curious. These Fluvog boots were from my personal closet. I bought them in 2013 when I got a fancy new job, and at the time, and I think maybe still, they were probably the most expensive item of clothing or accessory that I had ever purchased. I remember being at the cash register and the sales associate talking me through it and letting me know that I could return them, but they were beautiful, beautiful boots. Fluvog shoes are just exquisite. They were a calf-length boot in black leather with the classic mini John Fluvog heel, which is kind of like tapered, so it's a very comfortable bottom. But the unique thing about these boots is that they laced up the side kind of like a corset. And the nice thing about it is that you could lace them once, make sure they fit you really well, and then they had a zipper on the other side. I loved these boots, wore them a ton, like year after year after year, but I found that in the last couple of years, I wasn't wearing them as much. They needed a small repair, so I recently took them to a shoe shop near me, had them repaired, and decided to list them. I had definitely loved them, so I didn't list them as high as I could have, but just based on their condition, they sold for $135 on an offer to Liker and sold the same day that I listed them. I was sad to say goodbye to the boots, but know that I got a ton of wear out of them. I wasn't wearing them the last couple of years, and I'm so glad that someone else can love this style. Fluvog is definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. And based on my research, they keep their value pretty well. When I opened the box from one of my consignment clients, pulling out all these clothes, I found a box of shoes, and then there were roller skates in the box. And I didn't know if I could sell roller skates on Poshmark. I did a bit of research. It didn't seem like they weren't allowed, but there wasn't a great category for them. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just put them up on Facebook Marketplace and see how they do. The only other things I've sold on Facebook Marketplace up to this point have been furniture and my old iPhone. And I'm not gonna lie, I find selling on Facebook Marketplace kind of annoying. The messages are just incessant, and it's just everyone being like, is this available? Is this available? And then they ghost you, or they try and bargain with you. When I was moving a few years ago, I was selling a weight bench, and I had this guy message me and try and haggle me on the price. And I said I was firm on whatever the price was. And he was like, well, I'm gonna have to drive down to Toronto. I'm gonna have to pay gas money. And I was like, that's not my problem. I listed these Chicago skates, roller skates, on Facebook, and they got a lot of interest. And someone messaged me, asked me if I would do $40. I said yes. We figured out a place to meet. They showed up, and it was awesome. Do you sell on Facebook Marketplace? What works for you? Let me know down in the comments. Especially if you're in Canada, because in Canada we can't ship on Facebook Marketplace. In the US, I'm pretty sure that's a thing that y'all can do, but in Canada you have to like meet up with someone and pick up the item, exchange the money. It's not ideal, but I know that it works really well for some people. Maybe I just don't have the patience. Anyway, if you sell on Facebook Marketplace, let me know what you do, what you sell there, how it goes. Oh, these are one of my first retail arbitrage purchases, and I think I was just excited to find the brand Girlfriend. They were a pair of navy blue corduroy straight cropped pants from the brand Girlfriend. They were in a size 29. I don't even know how many times I relisted these pants. It was more than twice. There was a day I was sending out offers towards the end of the month. I sent out an offer to Liker for $45. This person accepted. Those took over 40 days to sell this time, but I swear they've been sitting in my closet, I want to say for a year. Maybe longer, maybe a little bit less. Anyway, they sold and I was pleased. They were new with tags, but I learned when you're doing retail arbitrage or really any sourcing, just be mindful about the style. Don't get too excited about a brand until you realize if the style is something that's in demand. It's your friendly neighborhood PSA from me. I sold this Nordstrom blue and green cashmere scarf. I got an offer from the buyer for $40 and I accepted, and that took 63 days to sell. I've got one more of those scarves left, and those are all 3 that I received in my Quick Lots half pallet. I want to tell you about two other sales I was really excited about, not because they were over $40, but just because I was really happy to see these items leave my closet. In my notes about this item, I have relisted, finally. That's how excited I was for it to go. It was a Karen Scott, new with tags, pink V-neck sweater. I received it in the first liquidation box that I ever purchased, and if you've heard me talk about it before, it was awful. It just was really, really bad. And there's a couple of items just lingering in my closet from that box. I've relisted this sweater so many times, no one wanted it. It finally sold for $14 on an offer to Liker, and it just took a million years to sell, and I am thankful that it's gone. The other was another case of me getting excited about a brand and less so about the style. So this was a jacket that I had picked up from the brand Lafayette 148. It was a really gorgeous, structured jacket. It was kind of asymmetrical in the front, and it was in a size 12. I had seen that the jacket had sold on the RealReal for a decent amount, but I found that Lafayette 148, I don't know, it doesn't move as well for me. I had relisted this piece a number of times, and I was really happy that it sold this month. It sold for $39 on an offer to Liker, and I don't know how long it took to sell because, as I said, I had relisted that a number of times. Trends that I saw in September. Boots. Love selling boots. They're doing really well. They sold quickly for a great price for me, and so I'm hoping to be picking up more boots in the future to list. Two more categories that did well for me. Jeans. A lot of Citizens of Humanity jeans. I do pick them up quite a bit, but a lot of pairs moved in September. And also sweaters. We've been talking about that for a little while. I don't really have anything to say about sweaters except that they're doing well, and happy to see these items moving for colder weather, and definitely something that I'm thinking about as I'm sourcing. Also really excited because I picked up a whole bunch of jeans. They're all sitting over there just past the steamer, and I'm going to be listing those in my closet this week. As we head into October, here's some goals that I'm thinking about. I'd love to list 150 items. Less aggressive than my 200 I wanted to list last month. It's more than I've listed before, but I feel like now that I've got my steamer in place and I kind of know the workflow I need to go through in order to list that many, I think I can get it done. I still need to cross list on eBay. It still hasn't happened. I know y'all are tired of me saying it, but it's just true. I'm also curious if anyone has any experience listed on Vinted, which is a new platform that folks can use in Canada. I heard some people talking about it, and then I investigated, and I've been hearing mixed things, and when I checked out the platform, I didn't love it. I've also heard that it's not a great platform for full-time resellers, maybe for someone who's more casual and just trying to look to get rid of some of their own stuff. Anyway, if you've sold anything on Vinted or you've tried it out, let me know how it's been going for you down in the comments. In October, I'm also really excited to make the most of Poshfest. Are you going? And by going, I mean, are you turning on your computer or tablet and attending from the comfort of your own home? I'll be attending right here. I'm also going to be speaking at Poshfest at 10:20 Pacific time, 1:20 Eastern time on the Saturday about self-care, mental health, and balancing it all, and I'm really excited for that conversation. There's so many other great topics and speakers. I'm really excited to be cheering on my PFFs, connecting with folks, and hopefully learning some things. I am also hoping for some good announcements. I asked y'all in a poll what you were hoping for. It seems like many of you are really hoping for cross-border shipping, which is something they've mentioned at the last two Poshfests, but maybe 2021, 2022 will be the year they make it happen. I can only imagine the logistics that are behind that, also shipping and all of that good stuff, but it would be really amazing to be able to sell cross-border, so we'll see. I'd really love some analytics, ability to run sales. They fix bundles on iPads, maybe a way to message folks. We'll see. Instead of doing a new video next week, I'm actually gonna go live here on YouTube next Sunday night, maybe with a special guest or two, to recap Poshfest, talk about what we learned, and just share more about the experience. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. I'd love to see you live in the comments. Since we're now officially in Q4, I'd recommend you check out this video where I share some reseller tips to help you make the most of this last quarter of 2021. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, and if you're not already subscribed, now would be an awesome time to do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye, friends!